Hey, you tourists, it's your boy Domination. This is back of the basic. Chuck to do how to text, baby. Mind of those back. You know this it is. Real man Rasta, fake man Rasta. Real man Rasta, fake man Rasta. Prep the word preacher, preach on. And welcome to the Back of Basic broadcast, Back of the Basic. And today's topic, what we're going to talk about is on Unsung Review. We already talked about other parts of the episodes. If y'all don't know, y'all need to look those videos up. And the new episode and the previous episodes, I didn't talk about when the show got started. But let's talk about the Zapp band. Rest in peace to Roger Troutman, and also rest in peace to Larry Troutman. What's so sad about this? This is a great band. See, they the real reason why the West Coast had a meant with West Coast had the real ultimate ultralight sound. That came from the Zapp band. This is from my parents' generation. You know, I heard of them later on, but they were influenced. A lot of West Coast rappers use Zappman robotic totally voice. Everybody call it the speaker machine box, the auto tune. That started from this man. You gotta give Roger Troutman his credit. And fuck all you people out there that think that it started from T-Pain. It was started way before all that. T-Pain was influenced by this guy and this guy right here, won't even give him credit. And they sued him for that. And they won't give him the credit. Give the Troutman family credit, because it started from Roger Troutman with the whole blowing, I don't know, some kind of blowing rope straw and put it in his piano mint kit player. It was sound great. They say he has some kind of sore throat problem. I don't know how true that is. And if y'all, if it's not true, clear that up. They'll get accusation on that, because I don't know. So anyway, let's get it started. Let's talk about the Zapp band. The Zapp, also known as the Zapp band, or Zapp and Roger, is a American funk band that originated from Dayton, Ohio, United States in 1977. Partly an influence in the Rodada and subgenre of funk. They were Zapp are known for their trademark using of the talking box affected. Yep, that came from Roger Troutman. Let's look this up right here. All right. The original lining up consisted of four Troutman brothers. Frontmen Roger, Larry, Lizard, Lester, and Tommy, something like that. I'm trying to pronounce it. Terry, I got it, Terry, and non Troutman family member Bobby, Craig, Glover, Craig, Jackson, Sherman, Phil Wood, and Gerald Dirick's son, Eddie Barber, and Jennifer Boyd. Zapp also working closely with George Clinton and Bootsy Collins of the Funkadelics. In the early stage, they support being a factor in the group, regained a record deal with the Warner Brothers Records in 1979. Zapp released its debut album in 1980 and achieved a mainstream recognized from the single More Bounce to the Ounce. I like more bounce to the ounce. I like that. Got that funky groove feeling. The group followed up Zapp Zapp 2 was released in 1982, selling well and become more certified gold in the 1990s. Yeah, that's when I heard them later. Zapp also being an influence on the origin G Funk. Yep, sound. Mean gangster funk. And the unrelated culture scene of the West Coast hip hop itself. They were West Coast got their influence of them, even though they from Midwest, but they got the influence because the whole band. And rest in peace to Roger, man, because he was the sound of that, of the whole of his sound from him. The band disbanded in 1990 after the death of Roger and Larry Troutman in a murder and suicide apparently carried out by Larry. Zapp reformed Burley in 2003 with the remains brothers of the Troutman family to produce the album. Troutman 6, look like Troutman 6, backed by popular demand. No, it's part Troutman 4, backed by popular demand. That's what I was trying to say. Okay, they got great hits, man. They got great hits. They started off in 1966. No, it's really 1977 and 1999 and 2003. So it started off in 1977, but really 1966 though. In 80s, early career and a major record deal. Born on November the 29th, 1951, in Connecticut, Ohio. Ohio. Roger Troutman begins recording music in the early to mid 1960s. The issue of his first solo recording affect Georgia Troutman and the Night Time on the Aristotle and now Reed Devon, Ohio label, the Teen Records, in 1966 under the band name Little Roger and his famous vignettes all through either song received were recognized during to the very limited release. Troutman and the brothers pursued their music careers throughout the 1970s. Former Roger and the Human Body in 1976 on their private owned label, Troutman Brother Records. Their own label allowed Troutman and the band to give a slightly wide and more high profile release on their own music. The issue first, and the only album introduced Roger in 1976. Yeah. Even though they were split up with George Clinton and Uncle Jam and CBS. And, okay, here's the death bit of Roger Troutman. In 1996, present the death of Roger and Larry Troutman, a disablement and currency and activist, on Sunday morning, April 25. Hold on, folks. Cut the light off. Yeah. Okay, now we're back. I have to cut off because this weather's crazy. Okay, where are we at? Okay, where we at? Where we at? Where we at? Where we at? Okay. Okay, on Sunday morning, April the 25, 1999, Roger Troutman was fatally wounded as a result of a apparent murder-suicide that was reiterated by his older brother, Larry. Roger was shot several times in the Brussels by Larry as he exited a recording studio in Dayton, Ohio. Roger was taken to a good establishment hospital, but died shortly after. Larry's body was found in a car a short distance away from the murder scene. There was no witness at the time. Larry's motive for the murder of Roger remains unclear. They don't know if he really shot his older brother, or better yet, it was he shot himself for a suicide or whatever, or he was trying to kill. There were rumors going on because they said that Roger Troutman. It said that a family like this were all combining by one, and then all of a sudden it's all combined each other apart. It's sad about Roger and it's sad about Larry. It's sad about that because remember, people, do not mix business with family, and do not mix with family with business. Remember that you got to separate the two. I understand it's very hard. But rest in peace to Roger and rest in peace to Larry. We don't know what really on, because some people say that Roger was getting ahead up more than Larry did. Larry was falling into bills and he had to take care of the family and taking care of the business, structuring business, and he couldn't keep up with Roger. He couldn't keep up, but he knew he needed him. Without Roger, Larry wouldn't be anything without his little brother, even though he was the oldest. He was the drummer, and Roger was the front man, was the singer. It's sad, man. It's sad. It should have never happened like that. Remember, don't ever mix with business with family, and don't mix with family with business. Separate the two, for it won't be an issue and won't be resolved into that, to a tragic like this. It's not worth it. It's not. Larry's body was found in a car a short distance away from the murder scene. No witness at the time, and the Larry's motive for murder of Roger remains unclear. Larry has been expressing increasingly several financial problems. Managed the family running house companies, building houses and stuff like that. Troutman Enterprising, which and evenly filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Own $400,000 in a taxes. That's a lot of stress you got to deal with. Kids too, everything. But damn, it shouldn't have to come to this. Larry may also have been bitter after Roger fired him. Yep, I forgot about that. He was fired because I watched the episode. I fired him as a manager of his music career. A position of Larry has hold for several years. During Roger's funeral, his nephew, Chetty and Troutman, performed a speaker box renounced of Amazing Grace. Roger was survived by 6 sons and 5 daughters. His older son, Roger Richard Troutman Jr., died of head injuries just a few years after the murder of his father. I did not know that. I did not know that. January 31, 1970, and January 22, 2003. After Troutman's death, Ice Cube said that more bounce to the ounce introduced him to hip hop. I was in 6th grade. We stayed at the school. We have this dude named Mr. Locke, and he used to bring in his radio with those pop locking. He used to teach the group, the dancing group, in the L.A. Locker, and he would do the community service and after school program. He was the first introduced into hip hop. Period. I don't know nothing about nothing, and I haven't heard Rapper's Delight yet. It was the first thing that was really fly to me. They started dancing, and since more bounce goes on forever, they just go down. They just got down, and I think that it was a rush. It was a rush of syllables for me, it was like chemical reaction in my brain. The results of the impact of Roger and Larry's death left the group Steno and Hillman production without Roger serving as the creators or sources. They effectively disbanded and quietly left the music industry altogether. Warner Brothers Records ended dropping the group from their label, bringing the professional recording careers of Zapp to a close. A few years later, Zapp refaces for a few period after the reduction of its own label, their own independent label, Zapp Town Records, and the management by the Trauman family. The label released only a album, Zap 4, backed by the popular demand. In 2003, Zapp returned to perform only in live concert a tour across the U.S. at Fernlit and avenues. God bless. And Roger Troutman brought out some few people. He brought out Stacy Murdoch. Yeah, he brought her out. And we're going to talk about her some other time, though. And my favorite song of the Zapp band for Roger Zapp with the song called Pewter Love. You know, I Want to Be Your Man, and I like that record. And he had a lot of women, man. I ain't gonna lie, he was something else. They had a great album, Zapp, and released in 1980. Zapp 2, released 1982. Zapp 3, released 1983. The new Zapp 4U, released 1985. Zapp Vibe, released September the 12th, 1989. Zapp 4, backed by the popular demand, released November 30th, 2001. And Zapp's, it looked like 7, Roger and the Friends, released in 2008. The All Greatest Hits and the combination Greatest Hits 2 and more. My favorite, Bounce to the Ounce, and will the blow the Bounce to the Ounce, and not that Computer Love. I like that. Beautiful Love, I love you. Beautiful Love. I love that. It's one of my favorites. But what's really sad, but the greatest thing about it, they finally together and pay tribute to Roger and Larry. But what's sad about this tragic, never mix with business with family, and never mix family with business, because it don't go together. Separate it, for the families can stay longer together. For control differences, the money for control differences, and have a better accounting of your money, for everybody get their money barely, for they can make everybody should get better share of the money, each individually or in the group as a whole. Because that's how Wu-Tang did. Wu-Tang separate. They don't separate. They're always together. But they go each other different record labels, because that was the only way to keep those groups together. Because if they put it in one form group, one label, it's going to mess up the money right there. It's going to fuck the money up real bad. So always don't ever mix with business with family, and don't mix with family with business. Separate the two, and family will stay long if they fix the money problems and fix the career. I mean, control, creative control, and also make sure that fix the things that's going on in family household. All right, and families will stay in touch together. And I hope whatever Roger and Larry, I hope they make their differences and happen, man. Because we don't know. It should have never happened like this, and it's sad. He was a barely, make an impact of music, and they both do. And especially Roger, he truly missed, and also his brother as well. So I hope you enjoyed this story, because next time we're going to talk about something more unsung, but I'm not going to tell you. You just have to wait until next time, all right? You'll see on the next Sunday, all right? So I see y'all again until next time, next Sunday. All right? All right. It's your boy Domination. This is Back of the Basic. Chuck of the Deuces out. Do text, baby. Till next time. All right? All right. Peace. I'm out. All right. Peace.